Okay, we're going to start uh, in the book of Revelations, 21st chapter. We're going to be talking about conceptualizing the 12 strand DNA as the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles, 12 disciples, 12 gates of the city of Jerusalem, etc. Uh, and this is going to be a culmination of a recent process that we went through, uh, realizing that the 12 disciples, the 12 apostles, 12 tribes of Israel were not, in fact, historical characters or historical realities, but were allegories that refer to or point to one of the most important uh, topics for any of us that we can discuss. Uh, this is pivotal. This is pivotal because it's going to be, it's talking about uh, the activation of our 12 strand DNA, the activation of our 12 strand DNA. And, we have come full circle with this knowledge. And from the standpoint, Nasik, of my studies personally, this caps it off.
Uh-huh.
So, from what I'm saying is, from the moment that I began uh, to head in this direction, you know, I've compiled a tremendous amount of uh, information. And when you look at even the videos that we've done, let me go to YouTube real quick and I'll show you all. When we even look at the number of videos that we've done, when I first began this, I'm going to show you the amount of information. Now, this is just the uploads on YouTube, and it doesn't include the uploads that we did on Facebook. It doesn't include, not see, some of the many sessions that we did prior to recording.
Right.
So if you just look, starting in 2017, when I began this Death Die-Off Knowledge series up until the present time, these are 3, 4, 5 hour videos. So we've shared a lot,
Right.
and I see with the corresponding notes. So we have shared and disseminated
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of information that has led us to this point. Like I said, I believe that this, uh, from where I sit right now, that this has brought us full circle, and it is at least the culmination of a process that has spanned more than 2 years.
From Genesis to Revelation.
So it's more books now. It's more books of the Bible. That's just the approved version. So
I know.
we just we've reached a seminal point, I believe, and this is important, and we're beginning to transition in a very real and substantial way. So I can't emphasize this enough, that we um, that we sharpen our focus and really, really pay attention to what we're about to do right now, because this is, you know, this is really, really, really important. And I'm beginning from a personal standpoint as I apply the particular techniques that I'm sharing with you now, that I shared with you yesterday, uh, that we're going to be reviewing going forward. I mean, the results, Nasik, are immediate, they are powerful, they are effectual, and they're undeniable.
Right.
Like we said yesterday, when we were at the very end, before we ended the session, that the the techniques, the application of this is going to be uh, very, very important, very critical, and that this process, I seek, of activation, while and the process of healing, the process of correction and repair and restoration, while the results are going to be immediate, it doesn't mean that you have ended the process once you've done it once or a couple of times. This is ongoing. This is ongoing.
Uh-huh.
You know, we are beginning at the etheric level. We are beginning at the energetic level. And we're not used to, I see, working on that level,
Nope.
generally speaking. And, you know, we have this kind of microwave mentality, uh, you know, like when we come across, some knowledge, or we come across a technique, we think it's a magic bullet and all we have to do is shoot once. But
Huh, huh.
we've actually put ourselves through a devastating process of anesthesia, first of all, putting ourselves to sleep. That began a profound degenerative process, family. And, it took place, and we've covered this, over classes that we've had in the past. And this has taken, Nasi, hundreds, centuries, millennia, hundreds, thousands of years, to effectuate the so-called fall, or the so-called voluntary bending of the knee. And it's not going to be uh, an easy process, or a quick process, should I say, to restore what was given up, what was lost. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
We're beginning at Revelations 21, verses 10 through 14. Revelations 21, 10 through 14. And now, see, before you came on, I let everybody know that I sent the notes out. You should have them in your
Oh, okay, good.
you should have them in your email, recent email that I sent.
Good, good, good.
And if it's easier, you can follow along with the notes. Revelation 21, 10 through 15, through 14 reads on this wise. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and shewed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Now, right here, we're going to be talking about this term city, and we're going to be decoding it. So, right away, family, I want you to keep in mind the great cities of the Bible: Zion,
Right.
and even Babel. All right?
Okay.
because just like what we're looking at here, it is a city, something that was built, right? Babel
Right.
is going to come into focus at a later time, and it is very, it's almost immediately, and it's very connected to this, and it's going to be critical in our understanding of all of this. And he showed me a great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, and even like a jasper stone, as clear as crystal, clear as crystal. So, just to jump ahead, we're talking about the crystallization of the carbon based human body. All right?
Yeah.
Just going to say that out, out front. The crystallization, this is what this is talking about, of the carbonated or carbon based human body. Not talking about no mystical city, that's going to descend out of heaven. And a high and had a wall great and high. So it is a walled city. All right?
Right.
It is a walled city, meaning that entry and access is protected. Now, keep in mind, now, see, you remember we were put out of the garden, right?
Yeah. Right.
And they put carob there, carabine, to keep
Right. Yeah.
keep
Right. Right.
from coming in and having
Right.
access. They said the tree of life, but it was only just one tree with two
Mhm.
aspects, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. All right, it was just
Right.
one tree. We'll see. So it was a walled city and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and the names written therein, or thereon rather, and which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right, so we see 12, 12, and 12 repeated. On the east, three gates, on the north, three gates, on the south, three gates, and on the west, three gates. So the
I know
12
where I
gates,
know exactly where you're going with this.
absolutely. The 12 gates divided into fours, into quarters, all right, into fours. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So we said that in previous classes, and we have those recorded. We did three classes prior to this one. That all we did was focus on moving our understanding of the 12 apostles, 12 disciples, 12 tribes of Israel. Uh, that we identified them as what? The 12 signs of the zodiac.
Yes. Right.
And all of these 12, all of those 12 are actually talking about one thing, and there's
Right.
the 12 strand DNA. So all you need to know,
Yeah.
you don't have to go back over that. We've covered
Right.
that thoroughly. The above Bible passage, Revelations 21, 10 to 14, syncretizes the major allegorical themes or symbols of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 gates, 12 foundations of the city of Jerusalem, the 12 angels, 12 apostles, etc., into a singular, monolithic, holistic symbol which comprises the holy city of Jerusalem. The holy city of Jerusalem, or the New Jerusalem, as it's called, represents the fully activated, fully integrated, fully energized, fully illuminated, and enlightened melaninated super being. Did y'all hear me?
Right.
In other words,
Yeah.
it represents you in your what biblically or religiously we say in your resurrected form.
Right.
So let us look at this word city. All right? Because now see, this is going to lead us somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I've titled this next session City of Terror. The City of Terror
Uh-huh.
for a reason. Genesis 11 in the King James Version, verses 1 through 7, I believe it is. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass that as they looked, journeyed from the east, journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build a city and a tower. Are y'all with me?
Right. Yeah.
Whose top may what? Reach
Reach to heaven.
into the heaven. In other words, let us begin to reconnect with our source. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
And let us make us a name. That is the word Shem. Shem.
Right.
Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one. They all have one language, and this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they what? Have imagined to do.
Right.
We got to know who this is speaking. This is Yah the Baal, the one that is over the simulated reality.
Uh-huh.
All right? That consciousness, that thought form that is over the simulated reality. Us returning to our source causes the simulated reality to what? Lose its integrity. Go to, let us go down. Let us go down. And there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth. And they left off to build the city. Now remember, this city is your resurrected, fully illuminated, fully enlightened super body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore is the name called Babel, because the Lord did confound their language, did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And subsequently, family created an out of Africa theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
The word city, the word translated city, follow me now, is the Hebrew word ear. Ear. All right?
Yeah.
It is
Right.
H5892. And look, it means excitement or anguish. Excitement
Right.
or anguish. The full range of emotions, right? Extreme. Excitement, then anguish. Yin and yang. Yin and yang, rather, right?
Right.
It's translated as city, town, a place of waking. Of waking. Y'all got to hear that. And something that is guarded. It also means city of terror. Follow with me now. It says it's from 5782. A city, a place guarded by waking or watching in the widest sense. All right? H5782 is the word or. So we go now, see, from ear to or.
Cool. Right.
And it means, it's a primitive root, and it means through the idea of opening the eyes. Wait a minute. Now that carries us back to the Genesis narrative
Right. Right. Carries us back to Genesis. Right.
and what
And
the
then,
serpent, our inner wisdom told us about eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
right.
Your eyes will be open. You're going to awaken or activate what? These super abilities, and you'll be what? Like God, a super being.
Yeah.
Are you all with me?
Yeah.
It means the word or means to wake, literally and figuratively, to awaken, to wake up, to lift up yourself, not wait for Eitai or Nasik or some other Messiah or Jesus or Yahuwah or are you all hearing me? Someone other
Yes.
than yourself. It means to wake yourself up.
Okay.
That the uh, that the 12 zodiac Nasi don't master you and your destiny. That you wake up and master
Yeah.
them,
Right.
and thereby mastering that, you master your destiny. Now remember, we are out in our sleep state. We thought that even when we decided to identify ourselves as the 12 tribes of Israel, in our religious belief state or mind state, we said that the 12 tribes governed our destiny, correct?
That's right.
Just like the Christians say that the 12 apostles or the 12 disciples or the 12 signs of the zodiac. Y'all with me? Govern our
Yeah.
destiny. But when you awake, you're supposed to control that, master that. How? First of all, through the opening of the eyes and realizing that all of this is what? Allegorical.
Right. That's the first beginning.
It means to rise or raise up. That means to ascend,
It
right?
means to ascend. Right.
That means to be resurrected. It also means to stir yourself up, to arouse yourself, to rouse oneself awake, awaken, etc. Incite. This is the word city now. Now see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is proving that this is not no historical city or no future city in terms of an edifice, or a locale like that. And neither was the Tower of Babel. It is talking about a state of consciousness, a level of
Yes.
consciousness that we were trying to reach, that we have the capability to reach, but we left off doing it for a particular reason. We had to, Nasik, allow this simulated reality to exist for a while
Yeah.
so that we could correct the error, correct the flaw in real time. So that translated city now, means again to rouse oneself, to awake, to be aroused, to be roused, to stir up, to be excited, to be triumphant, to be triumphant. Again, now see, to be victorious, to get the
Yeah.
victory.
Right. Right.
And more importantly, family, to act in an aroused manner, to act, to begin to behave in an aroused or awakened manner. This is this word or. There is another word that shares phonetically with this word or, and it is H218, or, and it means a flame, all right? A fire. It refers to light, illumination, and enlightenment. Now speak. It is also a city in southern Babylonia, the city of the Chaldeans, the city, the center of moon worship. And it is the home of Abraham's father, Terah, and a departure point for Abraham's migration from Mesopotamia to Canaan,
Uh-huh. That's interesting.
referred to as the Ur of Chaldee. The
Right.
Ur of Chaldee, and we're going to get into that later. But understand that it is related to what it is that we're talking about. To this what? Resurrected state. To us putting on and activating our light body. You remember when the disciples now that they were baptized with the Spirit. Y'all with me?
Yeah, yeah.
First, the baptism was with water
Right.
through John the Baptist. And he said, one is coming
Yeah.
after me. Who
As preferred before.
absolutely, whose shoelace I'm not even worthy to tie his shoe,
Right, right.
that he will baptize you with fire and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
This is the activation of this crystalline body through the activation of the 12-strand DNA. Making any sense to anyone?
Making perfect sense.
Now, this is when you become star children based on star knowledge, and you become the fire clan. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
So this is related to H217. Again, it's the same or. It means a flame, or in terms of action, to light a fire or the light of a fire. Your illuminated body, your resurrected body, your fire body. And again, this word or, meaning a flame, from H215, it means the east. This is where the sun begins to rise as the region of light.
Huh.
And the word or, meaning the break of day, glory, to shine, to be kindled. Yesterday I said that we would connect this, Nasi, to the Washita. All right.
Right, right.
And Kalaya connected the word uh, Karib or Karub, meaning angel, the Karubim, who were put to guard the garden. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Meaning to guard a particular knowledge that would what? Open our eyes,
Right.
enlighten us, cause us to what? Shine and be these godlike beings. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So we're going to connect this. Kalaya connected Mu to the Caribbean and then to the Americas. And I said that we were going to further that today. As Atlantis is connected to the Hawaiian Islands, uh, based on the ring, the island chain called what? The Ring of Fire. See, fire, or the flame, the star people, the sun people. Mu is connected with the Atlantic Ocean. Am I right, Kalai? Lemuria.
The, uh, uh, the Caribbean is connected to the Atlantis, and the Ring of Fire is the Lemuria.
Okay. Now.
And Eitai. I also was looking at the map and studying the vortexes.
Yes.
Now, the Bermuda Triangle sets close on a vortex, and so do the Hawaiian island sets on a vortex.
Those things are being activated. Absolutely. Let's break this word Moor down. It is a combination of mu and the word or, family, that we just got through breaking down. Is the ancient name for the original people of the earth. That is us. Based on ancient teachings of the indigenous people of Washita. Of the Washita River Valley and its tributaries. The indigenous proprietary inhabitants of this part of the Americas recognize ourselves as Moors. Modern Western settlers in our land called us the lost race. Now watch this. They are the mound builders of Mu. Remember the builders of the city in the book of Genesis.
Right.
Y'all with me? Follow along now. Western history labeled us Wushita Indians or Washita and our additional Carib family of the Caribbean islands. Are y'all with me?
West.
West Indians. Is it coming together?
Yeah.
But it is a fact that we all did not migrate here from the subcontinent of India. We are the indigenous mound building cultures. We built mounds, cities, and towers. Now see, our pre-American nations formed a harmonious empire of communities across North and South America, centered around pyramid mounds constructed of earth. And yes, we love and respect our ancient Indian family of the Ganges and Indus River Valley regions. These origins are home of the ancient Dravidians, Sutras, and indigenous Dalits. Dalit is a Hebrew word corresponding to the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet and the number 4. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Who are still marginalized in a caste system that has been institutionalized since colonial times, but is slowly eroding into justice for females and darker people of ancient indigenous heritage. This is very important.
This is very important here. This is very important. Wow.
Our elders. Now, this ain't in no history book. Now, see, this is oral tradition that has been kept alive in our people. Very few people still have it, but it is provable and it is verifiable, verifiable in a historic sense. Our elders teach us that we are one people, sharing one God with our indigenous brothers and sisters of Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, and all of the Pacific Islanders of Melanesia, 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 Micronesia, and Polynesia. Our ancestors teach us that Mu is the indigenous name of the land. Mu is all matter, maternal, purpose, divine matrimony, living, increasing, viable life, procreation, effort, and it's connected to the word more, M-O-R-E. So we're going to see, we're going to put a pause right here and talk about these mound builders, Nasi, and see how this thing was taken off the rails. All right? And how we lost connection to this, and how Babylon and Babel and the people of Babylon came to be associated as evildoers and became vilified. Isaiah 52, 8 through 15, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice. With the voice together shall they sing. Now it's talking about singing, family. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
Those tones that we're going to start singing. Why? For we shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. That's another city, right?
Right.
Break forth into joy. Family, sing together. Y'all not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me.
Yeah. Places of Jerusalem.
That's how you gonna be reactivated, ye waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord hath comforted his people. He hath redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Depart ye, go ye out from thence. Touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her. Be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord. Those vessels of the Lord are called Merkabah, your ascension vessels, your ascension vehicles. Are y'all with me?
Wow.
For ye shall not go out with haste, nor go out by flight. Ain't nobody gonna chase you out. For the Lord will go before you, and the Lord God of Israel will be your rearward or your rear guard. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and very high. This is why he was taken up to a high mountain to see the city in the book of Revelation 21. Are y'all with me?
Right.
But here's what happened, family. As many were astonished by thee, his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of man. There was a distortion that took place that caused these mound builders, our ancient people, the individuals that tried to build the tower in Babylon, to be looked upon, Nasi, in a distorted way.
Yeah.
So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which they had not been told, that which had not been told them, they shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. The supreme black god equals the black satanic devil. This is how the mound builders, this is how the tower builders became vilified.
Now say,
Layered distinctive.
so I was just checking on the time. I got it from that. Yeah.
Laird distinctly indicates his belief that Rhea, or Cybele, the tower crown goddess, was just the female counterpart of the deity presiding over bulwarks or fortresses. Now, remember, we just read, our forefathers told us when talking about the city of Mu and Mur, that what? The Dalits in the Indus and Ganges River Valley were marginalized in a caste system that has been institutionalized since colonial times, but is slowly eroding into justice for females and the darker people of the ancient indigenous heritage. So it's the Nasi, the re alignment of the divine feminine.
Yeah, you can hear that, right? You see it, right?
Alignment of the divine feminine. And that
Right.
is happening to us. You know, we are mentally doing that, if not energetically as well. So this
Right.
tower crown goddess was the female counterpart of the deity presiding over bulwarks and fortresses. And that this deity was what? Ninus or Nimrod. Are we putting this together? Genesis.
Yeah.
We have still further evidence from what the scattered notices of antiquity say of the first deified king of Babylon, under a name that identifies him as the husband of Rhea, the tower-bearing goddess, that the name is Kronos or Saturn. Very important.
Right. Right.
It is
Cronus.
It is well known that Kronos or Saturn was Rhea's husband, but it is not so well known who was Kronos himself. Traced back to his original, that divinity was proved to have been the first king of Babylon. So when we talk about Nasi, the allegorical tale of Babylon being us attempting to connect with our divinity, well, here it is in the history.
Yeah.
Theophilus of Antioch shows that Kronos in the east Remember, they journeyed from the east. So Kronos in the east was worshipped under the names of, hold your horses,
Wow.
Hebrews, Baal or Baal.
Wow.
Now, see, this is what happens under duality.
I see.
Happens under the dual mindset. You create devils and demons and enemies of the state. And you can't syncretize this because you're still asleep. And from Eusebius, we learn that the first of the Assyrian kings, whose name was Belus, was also by the Assyrians called Kronos. As the genuine copies of Eusebius do not admit of any Belus as an actual king of Assyria prior to Ninus. Now remember, Ninus, we're going to get the word nine from that. The word nine. All right?
Mm.
King of the Babylonians, and distinct from him that shows Ninus, the first king of Babylon, was Kronos. They're syncretizing this. Just like we syncretize what? The 12 tribes of Israel, 12 apostles, 12 disciples, 12 gates, to what? The 12 zodiac, the Mazzaroth, right? And later
Yeah.
the 12 strand DNA, which is what we're doing. But further we find Kronos was king of the Cyclops. Y'all got that third eye open?
Yeah.
Their eyes were opened, all three of them, who were his brethren and who derived that name from him. And the Cyclops were known also as the inventors of tower building.
Wow.
The scholiast upon Euripides, Oris says, the Cyclops were so called from Cyclops their king. By the scholiast, the Cyclops are regarded as a Thracian nation, for the Thracians had localized the tradition and applied it to themselves. But the following statement of the scholiast of the Prometheus of Asclepius shows that they stood in such a relation to Cronus as proved that he was their king. The Cyclops were the brethren of Cronus, the father of Jupiter. Bear with me, family. We're going to put this all together. Now, look, that is the ancient representation of the tower or the mound with the open eye above it. Their eyes were open, and we see it on the back of the dollar bill. The king of the Cyclops, the inventors of tower building, occupied a position exactly corresponded to that of Rhea, who first erected towers in cities. That is the feminine, always first. If therefore Rhea, the wife of Cronus, or his counterpart, was the goddess of fortification, Cronus or Saturn, the husband of Rhea, that is, Ninus or Nimrod, the first king of Babylon, must have been Allah Mahozim, the god of fortifications. Now keep that name, Allah Mahozim. Write that down. Allah Mahozim. Allah Mahozim. Keep it in mind. The name Cronus itself goes not little to confirm the argument. Chronos, here we go, signifies the horned one. We done already talked about this, Nasi.
Yeah.
Signifies the horned one. As a horn is well known, a well-known Oriental emblem for power or might. So when you see a designation of power, this is the power of wisdom, you see the crowns or the horns emanating from it.
Right. Right.
Do y'all see what I'm saying?
Right.
You'll see the horns emanating from it. This is called the glory, right?
Yeah.
Called the glory. That's at least that's what it's translated as. But it is the Cronus or corona, the crown.
Right.
This
Right.
makes
Right. Right.
as a horn is a well-known Oriental emblem of power. Cronus, the horned one or the crowned one, the one with the corona around his head, was, according to the mystic system, just a synonym for the scriptural epithet applied to Nimrod, Geber. Here we go. The mighty one. Do I have any Geberim on the call? You remember Abba introduced us to that name. It was actually um, Nasi Kasiel, Nasi, when he was going around talking about enlisting Geberim, because the Geberim
Right.
is the one are the
Right.
ones that helped David, King David,
Right.
crowned one or the horned one, what? Build the kingdom.
Right. Right. Right.
They were the ones that aided him.
Okay, y'all continue on. I got to step out. Okay.
Okay. Genesis again, 10:8. He began to be mighty on the earth. The name Chronos, as the classical reader is well aware, is applied to Saturn, the father of the gods. This is going to lead us to the word Titan, or Teton, which is going to again lead us back to the original indigenous people of the Americas. We have already had another father of the gods brought under our notice, even Cush, in his character of Baal the Confounder, or Hephaestus, the scatterer abroad. And it is easy to understand how, when the deification of mortals began, and the mighty son of Cush was deified, the father, especially considering the part which he seems to have had in concocting what they call here as the whole idolatrous system, would have to be deified too, and of course in his character as the father of the mighty one and of all immortals. That succeeded him. But in point of fact, we shall find in course of our inquiry that Nimrod was actually the father of the gods, as being the first deified mortals. And that, therefore, it is in exact accordance with the historical fact that Cronus, the horned, crowned, or mighty one, is the classic pantheon known by that title. The word Cush, or the word Kushi, or Kushim, also spelled with a K, K-U-S-I. Hebrew is a Hebrew term generally used to refer to a dark-skinned person, usually of African descent. We're going to bring this right back up into our present moment so that we can identify with this family. Initially, the word was used by Hebrew-speaking Jews to refer to individuals of Ethiopian origin, derived from the biblical land of Cush. In ancient times, the term Kushi, plural Kushim in Hebrew, could denote any African or black individual, any melanated individual. Translating the Greco-Roman Ethiops, where we get the word Ethiopian. It means black face or burnt face. In modern Israeli Hebrew uses, the term Kushi is used as a pejorative term synonymous with the word nigger. Is this coming home? Is this hitting home? We are the original indigenous tower builders, family. We are who was being, our forefathers were the ones that were being referred to as the builders of the Tower of Babel, the scatterers abroad, the confounders. The reason for that. Ethiop or Ethiop, the native name is represented by Abyssinia, late 14th century. Ethiopian Negro, from the Greek Ethiops, again, from the word Aithian, to burn, ops, the face. In other words, fire looking. And that takes us back to the word ur, flame, sunburned, or burned by light energy. Who the Homeric Ethiopians were is a matter of doubt. Not really. The poet elsewhere speaks of two divisions of them. One, listen, dwelling near the rising, the other, the setting of the sun. Two divisions. So, where were you born? Were you born near the rising of the sun, or were you born, did you emanate into this material world near the setting of the sun? It's no argument. Bringing this thing home, making it personal. Both having embrowned visages from their proximity to the luminary, and behold, leading a blissful existence, because living amid a flood of light and as a natural concomitant of a blissful existence, blameless and pure and free of every moral defilement. Now they're putting it that way and saying that our godly demeanor, our divine demeanor was because we lived in such proximity to the Son. But we know that this divine behavior that we exhibited before the fall was due to the fact that of a quality of a melanated individual. And even more so when that melanin, that neuromelanin is what? Activated. So again, this term mighty ones is linked to the Hebrew word gibor or giborim. Moving ahead, thus also in a remarkable way accounts for the origin of one of the divinities worshipped by pagan Anglo-Saxon ancestors under the name of Zernebogus. This Zernebogus was the black, malevolent, ill-omened divinity. In other words, the exact counterpart of the popular idea of the devil, as supposed to be black and equipped with horns and hooves. This name analyzed cast a very singular light on the source from whence has come the popular superstition in regard to the grand adversary. The name Zernebogus is almost pure Chaldee and seems to unfold itself as the seed of the prophet Cush, the seer, the one who has what? His eyes open, who eventually was kicked out of the garden, who eventually was scattered abroad from the plain of Shinar. Are you all with me? And thus, the city, or the fully illuminated, enlightened, resurrected, melanated being, became the distorted beyond the original idea and became a city of terror. But only those that will be terrorized or anguished by our rise, by our awakening, will be those that what? Are part of the simulated reality, that reign because of the simulated reality, that have their dominion by virtue of the simulated reality. And again, our rise causes the simulated reality to lose its integrity. Quickly, as we close this first portion of this, we're going to get into the transcript of this video called, titled rather, DNA Activation, Becoming Superheroes or Super Herus or Giborim, the mighty ones. Everyone with me? We good? Any questions as we began to call? We good?
Mm-hmm. Eitai, shalom, shalom. This is Ike to me. I got one question.
All right, brother. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
All right. So look, are we saying that, or am I hearing this correct, that Baal and Nimrod are synonymous?
Same idea, same concept.
Okay. Next question.
Yes.
So, and they were not um, evil as we've been taught.
No, that's the whole thing. No. The only and see this is what I'm saying. That the only way it's evil or terrifying is if you remain stuck what? In the simulated reality.
Okay. Okay. I'm straight. I'm straight.
Right. The only way that will
So that
cause any anguish or excitement or terror, it causes terror to the simulated reality, the simulated matrix. Because as we what arise and ascend into our uh, our resurrected, fully integrated, fully energized, fully illuminated, fully activated state of being, the simulated reality is going to lose its integrity and it's going to begin to fall apart and become destroyed.
okay. That answers my question. That answers my question fully because it. I mean, it's when since I've been on these classes, I've been just shaking my head on occasion because it appears that everything
Yes, sir.
that been taught up to this point is been in error.
That's correct because it existed under a dual, it was forged and learned and under the programming of dualism.
Right,
Dualism.
right.
So it is always going to pit related things against one another.
Against each other. Okay, Toda. All right,
Right.
I'm straight now. I'm good.
12 strand DNA activation. At present, humanity on
So
Earth.
everything that we've ever learned in this commissary schooling education, we've got to discard because it's everything's in reverse. Everything is in reverse.
That's correct. That's correct. 12 strand DNA activation. At present, humanity on Earth has 2 strand DNA in the cells of the body. Light, that is information, expresses through the medium of what we call consciousness. And that consciousness is encoded within DNA. I'm going to say that again. Consciousness is encoded within DNA. The positive and negative polarities in light are comparable to the DNA and the RNA, which could be described as the polarities of the human consciousness. So that there's no, Tamid, evil aspect of the consciousness. Positive is not evil.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Negative is not evil. That there are two
Right.
sides or two poles of the same thing.
Right. Right. Okay.
This is also the reason that human consciousness goes from dark to light. And we've taken you from dark to light. Actually, we've taken you from light to dark in your understanding of Baal, and Nimrod.
Right. Right.
Because what was approved by the simulated matrix was that one was evil. That both of those were evil, but they're all part of one family.
Exactly. Exactly.
Through 12-strand DNA activation, 10 additional strands are activated in the body cells. These occult or hidden DNA strands are the 10 clipa of the adverse or forbidden tree. Y'all got to hear that. When Adam and Kava in the allegory now, remember, this didn't actually happen. It was just to show us a process that we would go through. When their eyes were open, or when they activated their DNA, right? Their eyes were open so that they could see the 2-strand DNA and how it connected to the other 10 strands that were hidden. They were kicked out of the garden. Are y'all with me? And were not allowed to activate the other 10. They were
right.
forbidden. Now I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I'm going to show you this, how our ancient ancestors showed us. The tree that is above ground represents what we were taught through compulsory education and within our religious training and our belief systems. You all with me? That's the upper part of the tree. That was the tree, family, that we were allowed. That was the part of the tree that we were allowed to freely eat from. Are y'all hearing me?
Mm-hmm.
The tree that was hidden, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's one up here that's 10. You all can't see it, but if you look very closely, you'll see the faint outline of another fruit.
It is the fruit of death, right?
That's correct. That is in the midst of the tree. And it's only when you enter through this forbidden one that you can access the rest of this fruit.
Wow.
How many?
Okay.
It is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus the hidden one is 10. Those are what's called the kalipot.
Wow.
Follow along with me now. Follow me. The kalipot is the dark side or inverse of the Sephiroth. The ones up top are the Sephiroth. The ones that all this time while we were asleep, we were allowed to eat from.
Okay.
The Sephiroth is the ancient Hebrew system of Kabbalah in relation to numbers, spheres, and areas of energy. However, the kalipot is what? A map to the spheres and energies of what? Demons and shells of the dead. Now, I already said that demon, The jinn relates to the word genius.
Right.
Demons relates to the word genius, your hidden genius. That inert genius, the inert powers, they're demons because they're demonic to the ones that benefit from what? The simulated reality.
Right. Right.
Come on now. Y'all with me?
Right. Absolutely, Eitai.
These shells may be embodied with light by whom? The sorcerer. That's you. You're the magician. You're the sorcerer. You're the resurrector. You're the Christ. You're the Messiah. You're Yahuwah. Are you all with me?
Okay.
Who
Absolutely.
uses his mind or his consciousness or his attention to feel them. The goal of the sorcerer is to find and empower these dark spheres and tunnels within the brain.
Mm.
Follow me, family. These 10 hells in 7 places are just the 10 hidden strands of DNA. They are areas of specific mind or mental or consciousness power where the magician may enter and command a form of order from chaos of the subconscious, thus the universe.
Mm.
In
Wow.
this, the witch or magician should approach the 10 hells in 7 places as being a gateway to the 7 heads of the infernal dragon. All of these symbols now coming to fore.
Mm-hmm.
It is the opening of the mouth of hell. That is the opening of the mouth of hell right there. It is near the serpent's head. Do y'all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see the serpent encircling the tree, and he has his head right near the forbidden circle. Y'all see the circle hidden there? Where you enter in and descend to the forbidden fruit. Continuing on. This leads one into the dark, into the depths of the kalipathic and adverse power. Once the adept has gained an understanding of the concepts of these controlled and ensorcelled areas of chaos and darkness, then the magician will the energy within in conjunction with spell workings and meditative commands, astral travel, and dream control. Here is a prime example of the magician as being like Set, who then masters the serpent. Kalipo, they're not mastering you. In mastering the Kalipo, the magician, a manifestation of Set, holds then the power of the Kalipot, the serpent. Listen, in these emanations of the tree of Da'ath, or knowledge, death, you will find knowledge of both good and evil within. You will then become as a god. Are y'all hearing me?
Mm-hmm.
Kane, Eitai.
The Kalipoth is a living map of subconscious and the very power of the darkness. They say the mind here, but it's consciousness. The Kalipoth is a place of shells, hence the meaning of the word, relating again to the chthonic depths of the earth and the spirit of man. All that you do with Liber Yahuwah should be results oriented. That is the obtainment and retention of individual power and strength. That is your individual power and strength, not nothing
Mm-hmm.
or no one else's.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what the formulators of the simulated reality, which were our ancestors, did not want us to know, because we had to be anesthetized. We could not access our power until this great alchemical work in correcting the error had been done. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Now, going back up, we got about 15, 20 more minutes, family. So the 10 additional strands are activated in the body cells. These occult or hidden DNA strands are the 10 Kalipot of the adverse or the forbidden tree. The additional 10 DNA strands are of magnetic, multidimensional, and their presence or nature, multidimensional, their presence or nature, I'm sorry, I got to correct this, cannot be detected by present scientific equipment. This is what our ancestors showed us in the fact that you could not see, or you barely could see, this Da'ath Sephiroth was hidden, and it's through it that you have access to what is unseen, undetected, hidden, occult, concealed. That is your latent power. It is yours because the tree represents your body, not something that is separate and outside of yourself. We assume from testing and response that the changes initially occur in the etheric body. These additional DNA strands trigger the countless number of cellular activities necessary to change our dense physical carbon body into a physical etheric crystalline body and change our energy fields. This is what was represented in Revelations as the Holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, from you, from the Father, from your higher consciousness, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, describing what? Your crystalline body. It is said that 97% of DNA is non-functioning. that is the so-called junk DNA. For numerous people with awakened consciousness, this dormant material is considered as a living data storage containing the instruction sets for our greater human potential. We talked about this when we talked about the Akasha, which is just an ancient word for melanin, and the Akashic record, which is the ability of melanin, neuromelanin, to absorb all information that has ever existed. Does everyone remember that?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So again, family, we've reached the pinnacle here. That which we found about months ago. We are on the pinnacle of actualizing. What is coded within our secret vault is a potential so vast that it boggles the mind to think that something so profound could be so accessible. But that is the truth of the matter, family. It is immediately accessible simply by shifting our perceptions. Tommy, you with me?
Absolutely, Ty.
Just by shifting our perceptions relative to these allegories and understanding that there is no good or evil, there is good and evil, and it is all us, and it is all in us. And by coming or entering into a new way to define our personal reality, we can override the carbon framework at the level of the nucleic acid bases in the DNA. Simple as that, family. But like Amaria said, we got to get over the old programming.
Right.
This is the actual, this is going to test our ability to what? Utilize the power to define. Leading scientists are proving that genes and DNA do not control our biology. Well, this is what we said. We said, our identifying ourselves as the 12 children of Israel. That doesn't define us. Our coming under the 12 zodiac signs, the Mazarot, that doesn't define us. Only when we remain human does it define us. But we can find control outside of the carbon-based reality, or so-called reality, outside of even the 12-strand DNA. That doesn't control us. All this is telling us is that we control it. As what? The sorcerer, as the sorceress, as the magician, as the witch, as the god, as the titan, however you want to call it. That instead, DNA is controlled by signals from outside the cell. These are the signals, family, that we are in the process of exposing ourselves to. These sound and light signals, family, along coupled with our intent and our intention. While I am listening to the menu, the entire menu of the 9 solfeggio frequencies, I am defining. Tommy, I am defining. Based on knowledge, I am controlling the changes within me. My intent is to do what? become a superhuman being.
Right. Okay.
It's to become a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
The process don't control me. I invented the process to, when I woke up, when I aroused myself, to control it.
Okay.
This includes the energetic messages emanating from our positive and negative thoughts. We are the ones that define whether our thoughts are positive or negative. We control that. So if I want all positive results, I define everything as what? Positive.
Right.
I don't create no devil. I don't create no demon. With knowledge,
Right.
I decode all of that stuff and put it in this proper perspective and understand it, why it was initially formed like that, why it was initially redefined as that. The bottom line is that our thoughts and feelings directly affect our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Your own thoughts and no one else's,
Right.
directly affect your DNA. Positive shifts of perception, Tommy, that we've undergone, and new
Right. Uh-huh.
states and new feeling states. I don't feel the same way I felt about Nimrod.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
feel the same way about Baal like I was programmed to.
Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I understand that there is no duality. And I syncretize those things within my understanding. So it is no fear going forward.
Mm-hmm.
There is no defeat.
Right.
Only one holistic thought. And that one holistic thought is that I'm going to activate this DNA by whatever means necessary. And become this super being
Uh-huh.
that I'm destined to become, that I am.
Yes. Yes.
Moreover, when we consciously engage with the living intelligence of DNA, it gets majorly stimulated and starts pushing out the great potential that is held within the latent code. And that latent code is the power or the potential of the hidden kalipoth of the adverse or forbidden tree. Freely eat from it, family. Freely eat from it. This is a new day. It's a new era. It is,
Yes.
it is the ending of one age where we were controlled by these things for a specific divine purpose. But now it's time to arouse ourselves, to begin what? Constructing a new city. Whose builders and makers are not men. The pattern comes from your higher consciousness, your higher self. Finishing this out. We're going to go back over this now so that everyone understands, that everyone can clearly conceptualize this. Just as we are merely sequences of a 4-letter code, A, T, C, G, That 4-letter code now is the 4 gates. Is the 4 gates that the 12 tribes are divided into. Are you all with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh-huh.
4-letter code. The basis of life is very simple. Just as we are merely sequences of a 4-letter code, A, T, C, G, the basis of life is very simple. We change and transform all the time. We are constantly redefining ourselves. From every one of these consciousness shifts, we are literally changing our code DNA activation. And you do it anyway, by positive and negative thoughts. Primarily by negative thoughts that keep you what? Locked into the simulated matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Lipton, stem cell biologist, is now on the forefront of a new science of epigenetics. His breakthrough research and discoveries have bridged quantum physics with cell biology in the communication of DNA through mind and matter. We have the ability to change in the wink or twinkling of an eye if we can truly grasp these ideas and start acting from a full knowing rather, of our higher capabilities. Our DNA programs are like snakes or serpents. This is why, family, that the serpent is always shown in conjunction with the tree. Y'all see it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Read it.
Eitai,
Yes.
just like the snake, every 2 to 4 weeks we shed our skin.
That's correct.
And see, and again, that's the understanding of death. Because when the cells are dying, they are removed
That's right.
by new cells.
That's right.
You know,
And the same way,
so
go ahead.
so in closing, so the concept of dying is going to be totally different to us in organic reality than in the simulated reality.
It is not. It's going to be an illusion, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So these DNA programs, they're saying, are like snakes or serpents, shedding old skins.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We are constantly releasing old programs. And see,
Yes.
we can consciously do this. Old programs,
Mm-hmm.
old encodings.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Amari was like, we got to release all of that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about. Everything has been
Right.
reversed. So we got to redefine it. These encodings are merely stored impressions that can be reprogrammed. Is that what we're doing?
Absolutely.
Again,
Okay, Eitai.
as we shift our perceptions, cell biology changes. Since you all have been on this call, your DNA has been activated. Your cell biology has been altered. Your
Uh-huh.
vibration has increased.
Mm-hmm.
And the DNA based letters have been rearranged since you've been on this call. Everything on the
Uh-huh.
planet is in great change. Electromagnetic currents are altering. We see this on the news every day when they're talking about Kilauea. Kalia told us that the Ring of Fire, as well as the Bermuda Triangle, lie on the ley lines or dragon lines or serpent lines, and they create nexuses and energetic vortexes. And we see these things daily. Why? Because we're changing. We're causing change.
Yes, absolutely.
Causing these magnetic fields to shift. Things are no longer being held down in their familiar place, meaning that as we, family, begin to activate this DNA, we began to activate these energy centers, that the simulated reality, the simulated matrix, begins to what? Lose its integrity, to become unhinged, to become disintegrated, like they're saying here, that it's no longer being held down in the familiar place. We are getting unlocked, and it's better to say we are unlocking ourselves, freeing ourselves.
Yes.
This brings tremendous change to the biological body and the entire structure of our DNA coding. It is these additional strands of DNA that trigger the change of our total being into an ascension vehicle that will carry us into the fifth dimension. This is the reason that we have said that DNA and RNA are communication systems. It would be as if DNA is the link to the higher self and the soul, and RNA would be the soul's response. So again, once we pick it up tomorrow, we're going to talk about this in terms of sound and energy. RNA giving the call, DNA giving the response. DNA giving the call, rather, RNA giving the response. Y'all with me?
Okay.
In music, a call and response is a succession of two distinct phrases, usually written in different parts of the music, where the second phrase is heard as a direct commentary on or in response to the first. It corresponds to the call response pattern in human communication, and as we found out, in human consciousness, and is found as a basic element of musical form, such as verse chorus form in many traditions. So the fact that we have accessed and we have come into possession of these vibratory tones and frequencies of the solfeggio should not come as a surprise, because it is right on time. It's time for us, family, to begin to take control of our resurrection, our ascension, and to not only become aware of it and become awakened to it, but to master it.
Yes, yes.
To begin to interact with this, to experiment with it, to use your imagination based on knowledge, to arouse specific powers It's up to you what type of superwoman, super being that you are going to be. But these powers, all of these powers, what we are, what we will become, they are resident within all of us. Inert, sleeping. It's up to us to arouse and awaken these things. So with that, I'm going to end the recording right here.